This is my intro. There are many others like it, but this one is mine. Hi, and welcome back to Boilerplate Socialism. This is Dan. Thank you for coming back. Excuse me. Thank you for everyone who commented, for everyone who liked, and everyone who viewed a video. So today I'd like to talk a little about dialectical materialism. This is one of those topics that I'm honestly less confident about, but I'm here to learn, and in doing this is part of my learning process. So dialectical materialism is a philosophy and a social science first developed by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. They owed their understanding and their philosophy to an earlier philosopher, Hegel. Now, dialectical materialism is a philosophy and a science employed by just about every successful Marxist movement, every successful revolutionary movement, and it's even understood by certain other ideologies such as anarchism and, to an extent, social democracy. Now, there's two parts to this. There's the dialectics first. This is the idea that you can find truth through debate. It's a kind of formal logic that in the West, at least, was formalized by Aristotle. He would put forth ideas and thought experiments and phrase them in the structure of a debate between two friendly but aggressive parties. This was different. This was meant to be different from the time than from the standard priesthood, who simply claimed that they were speaking from the voice of the gods, while Aristotle could at least claim that he was trying to apply some sort of logic to the world, whether he was right or not. You can find dialectics not just in Aristotle, but also in some Chinese philosophy and even Aztec philosophy. It's a very old form of logic, logic through debate. The second part of it comes from the idea of materialism. Now, everybody's heard of René Descartes, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. The thing about that is that René actually believed that he could, purely through logic, solve any problem without having to do any kind of experimentation or field study. He believed that the mind could understand everything just by itself, and that the idea, putting that in capitals, the idea came before the material reality. Now, as dialectical materialists, we do not believe that. We are materialists. It's in the name. For us, matter, reality comes first. Ideas can come forth, but they are influenced and produced by their environment. You don't exist because you're thinking. If you're dead or unconscious, you still exist, despite not actually being engaged in active thought. So that's where we come from. Now, how do we apply dialectical materialism? Well, we apply it in a historic sense. We don't believe, like liberals do, in the idea of great men and great ideas. We believe that the flow of history comes from changes in technology, natural disasters, and the resulting contradictions of them. In this case, there is a dialectic or debate going between contradictions in a given society. In the conflict between the slaves and the slave owners, between the serfs and the feudal lords, and between the workers and the owners under capitalism. There's a contradiction in the system, and you have people with irreconcilable differences and class interests. Now, let me try to put this in perspective. The way liberals look at something like the American Revolution, they see the founding fathers, these great men with larger-than-life ideas who fought a war for those oh-so-noble ideas. Now, we look at it as dialectical materialism, or through a dialectical material lens. You have a group of slave owners, businessmen, and entrepreneurs and merchants who are becoming a class of their own outside of the feudal structures of Britain, far away from any kind of feudal structures. And the contradiction is that they owe their power and wealth to crown corporations and the power of the crown to back them up. But at the same time, the crown is putting an upper limit on their ability to make profit. So these people decide that the long-term gains of becoming independent outweigh the short-term pains of rebellion. So a revolution is waged, a capitalist class against a feudal order. The capitalists win. And the rest is history. Same with the French Revolution. It's not that people had these wonderful ideas and then decided to kill the king. It's that the king and his family had ruled for years. The world was changing. Technology was changing. The printing press was making it harder and harder for the monarchy to maintain hegemony, and a revolution broke out between the serfs, the burgeoning capitalist class in France, and the old feudal lords. This plays out again and again. There are material interests at work here. You have the You have the peasants, you have the growing business class or the merchant class, and they made war on the feudal class. Now we do want to apply this because you won't actually be able to change the world if you can't grapple with the material realities, because everything is material. You know, Oprah's book, The Secret, is a bunch of lies. You can't just will things into being. Ideas are great, but if you don't actually put them into practice, then they have zero impact on the world. It's great to spread ideas, but actual practical work is what's needed. You know, you can't just, like Descartes suggested, logic your way through all of the world's problems. Logic is a good tool, but unless you're actually putting it into practice, it doesn't actually change anything. And lastly, I do want to bring this up because dialectical materialism is important because the universe has no moral arc. You've all heard the Martin Luther King quote, you know, the arc of the universe is long but it bends towards justice. Well, the reason there is an arc is that there's people jumping on it, pushing it towards justice. People fighting for it. People fighting for their material conditions and their material betterment. The civil rights movement happened because Martin Luther and many, many others, the Black Panthers, the Deacons of Defense, all put in their effort to advance their material conditions against a segregated system that was trying to oppress them. So at the end of the day, I am a Marxist. I want people to fight for their material conditions in however way they can. Whether it's making videos, union organizing, talking to people, educating yourselves, volunteering, however it happens to be. You know, it's a big topic. Like most of my other topics, I really have not done it justice, but I'll try to give you a few resources in the description. I'm open to questions. I might not be able to get them right away because I have to jump into homework after this. And also I have a new cat, and he's been a little bit crazy and needs a lot of my attention. So with that in mind, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and remember to like and subscribe, please. Have an excellent day. This is my outro. There are many others like it, but this one is mine.